Hey, Perry here from Missing Link Social Media. This video, I'm going to cover a scenario of an audit we did for someone's ad account where they just weren't feeling confident that the consultant they were using was able to scale and grow and expand beyond the results they were getting. So it comes down to two core problems I'm going to cover in this video. Cool, so I'm going to talk you through those two scenarios now. So as a bit of context, we started working with this person who claimed their free audit, and they just had this gut feeling that the results weren't accurate, and that, they kept asking, well, why aren't we spending more money? Why aren't we, scaling out or expanding these campaigns? And just getting generic responses. When we jumped in there, we found it came down to two core problems. One was that there didn't seem to be a winning cold audience. In fact, there were 40 different audiences, and I'll explain that in a second. And the second reason was that the way that the campaigns were being judged, how many conversions were being triggered, was actually double what it should have been, and I'll explain that second. So first of all, I'll talk about the audiences. So when we jumped in there to look at the campaign that was reaching out to the cold audience who hadn't been reached before, there were 40 different audiences there. And that suggested to us that this person may not have known how to optimize the campaigns properly. And that's what it came down to when we ended up having a chat with them, just to kind of work out what was happening, what the strategy was. No one really seemed clear, the client or the consultant, on which was the top performing audience. And instead of optimizing an audience, you might start with maybe 2 or 3 different audiences and comparing them to each other, split testing, see which one is working best, picking your winner, trying to optimize that. It was, we'll test a few audiences. Oh, none of them are really working. We'll just duplicate another audience, test that, not great. Duplicate another one, not great. Duplicate, instead of settling with at least one of them and really trying to optimize it by testing things like Instagram versus Facebook, desktop versus mobile, a bunch of different placements. There's different bidding that you can do. You can do cost per click, cost per 1,000 impressions, cost per result. You can create different ads within those audiences to try to get yourself a better result as well. Instead of that stuff happening, it was just duplicate, trying to just wing it and trying to make it happen like that. So that's a big issue, right? If no one knows which audience is performing best, it's not being optimized correctly, there's always going to be a bit of a glass ceiling there. You're not going to be able to break through it. The next thing is looking at how the success was being measured. So when you're setting up the campaign, at least when we do, we thoroughly check and triple check to make sure that along the customer journey to buying, there are several ways that you can see, you can set conversions to see where people are falling off, and you can also then optimize to make sure that the campaign, you're getting the results that you want, and you can report on that result. And we found that when someone signed up for free, the complete registration event was firing, and when they actually paid, the complete registration event was firing again. So the results were being doubled what they should have been. Again, hence why that gut feeling was there. The results were being overrepresented. So this person actually ended up coming on board with us and started working with us, and we're starting to see some great results. So if you're in a scenario where you feel like you have this gut feeling that you're not seeing the results that you want, or there's a bit of a glass ceiling there, the results are okay, but you kind of can't break through it, something that's really, really worth considering is asking some questions around, well, what's our top performing audience and how are we measuring the success, right down to how many sales are we getting. If you're in a position where you need a hand with that, we do have our free ad account audit, so reach out if that makes sense to you. Otherwise, love to hear from you. Shoot me a private message through the page, or you can comment in the comments section below, and we can just start a bit of a dialogue around how your results are going, and I'm happy to give out some advice or help however I can. So stick around for our next video, and check out the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I'll see you soon.